What if I told you that, in the heart of Asia, there exists a nation that feels like an entire universe in miniature, where absolute precision lives side by side with ancient rituals that sound as if they were carved from myth? Imagine a world where trains race ahead to the exact second. Yet on a sacred island, women have been forbidden to set foot for centuries. A place where you might spend the night curled up in a room no larger than a matchbox, only to awaken the next morning beneath an endless sea of cherry blossoms, drifting like a dream painted in pink. This is Japan, a land both familiar and utterly strange. When you hear its name, perhaps you think of sushi, samurai, or cutting-edge robots. But hidden beneath the polished surface lies a series of astonishing truths, some so eccentric and extraordinary that they defy belief. Each discovery is a doorway into the history, the culture, and the spirit of a people who have endured for thousands of years. And today, Fascinating Discoveries invites you to join a journey through 15 mind-blowing facts that will leave you awestruck, revelations that may forever change the way you see this country. So let us begin with one of the strangest traditions you may have never heard of before. Number 15. Japanese train pusher. Would you believe that in Japan, there exists a job whose sole purpose is to push other people? It sounds absurd, yet it is entirely real. At stations like Shinjuku, where over 3.5 million commuters pass through every single day, the morning rush is so overwhelming that it seems physically impossible to squeeze another soul inside the train cars. But in a country where trains are expected to run to the exact second, even a minor delay is unacceptable. And so, Japan invented a truly one-of-a-kind profession, the Oshiya, known to the world as passenger pushers. These men, dressed immaculately in suits and crisp white gloves, stand on the platform with one mission: to gently but firmly push passengers inside until the doors close. At first glance, the scene looks harsh, almost mechanical. But look closer, and you'll notice something astonishing. They are not shoving with brute force. Instead, they carefully adjust a backpack, skillfully pivot a suitcase, and even bow an apology once their task is done. A famous photograph captured at Shinjuku shows this contrast vividly, in a flood of bodies pressing forward. An Oshiya lowers his head, one gloved hand steadying a schoolgirl's bag so it won't be caught in the door. In the chaos, there is courtesy. In the pressure, there is grace. What makes this discovery so remarkable is the paradox it reveals. In a megacity where individuality is easily swallowed by the crowd, the Japanese still manage to transform something as utilitarian as pushing people into a ritual of discipline, politeness, and quiet humanity. Today, with AI predicting passenger flows, the number of Oshiya is slowly shrinking. Yet at hubs like Shinjuku or Tokyo Station, their presence remains a kind of urban ritual, a living symbol of Japan's devotion to precision and order. Number 14. Okinoshima Forbidden Island. In the 21st century, there still exists a place on Earth where women are forbidden to set foot. This is Okinoshima, a tiny island off the coast of Kyushu, measuring only 0.3 square miles, yet revered as sacred ground in the Shinto faith. In 2017, UNESCO declared it a World Heritage Site, not for its landscapes, but for its ancient rituals preserved almost untouched by time. The rules here are astonishingly strict. Women are completely banned, while men who are chosen must first immerse themselves in icy seawater for purification before stepping ashore. And once they leave, they are bound by oath never to reveal what they have seen or heard. It is said that on May 27th each year, only about 200 men are permitted to take part in a sacred ceremony, as if entering a gateway into a realm sealed away from the rest of humanity. Archaeologists have uncovered more than 80,000 treasures on Okinoshima, artifacts from China, Korea, and even Persia, proof that this island was once a bustling hub of international trade thousands of years ago. Yet, in a strange paradox, A site filled with evidence of global connection remains hidden under layers of secrecy. Known to the world only through academic study while remaining a forbidden zone for most of humankind. Okinoshima stands as a powerful symbol of Japan's contrasts, a nation at the forefront of modernity, yet still clinging to traditions that defy the logic of today's world. Number 13. Japanese dating culture. In Japan, love looks nothing like what you might expect. Inside the fluorescent-lit offices of Tokyo, you'll hear female employees speaking in a kawaii voice, high-pitched, sweet, like the delicate chime of glass bells, because they are encouraged to sound cute and feminine even in professional settings. At home, the roles shift dramatically. Most men hand over their entire paychecks to their wives, making women the true ministers of finance, in charge of everything from daily meals to long-term savings. Dating itself is equally unusual. Many couples only see each other a few times a month, believing that distance is not neglect but respect, an act of preserving personal space and building anticipation. Picture this, a rare date night in Tokyo. Two people walking together under the neon-lit streets of Shinjuku, then parting ways for weeks, allowing mystery and longing to keep the relationship alive. But perhaps the most astonishing tradition comes on Valentine's Day. Unlike the West, where men give gifts to women, in Japan the script is flipped. It is women who present chocolate to men. Not just one type, but two, Jiri Choco, obligation chocolate for friends and colleagues, and Hanmei Choco, the true chocolate of love for the one who holds their heart. A month later, on White Day, men return the gesture, often with gifts worth several times more. This reversal is more than just a quirk. It's a metaphor for Japanese society itself, outwardly rigid and restrained, yet filled with hidden, unconventional expressions of intimacy. Number 12. Japanese Capsule Hotel. Imagine sleeping in a room no larger than 2 meters wide. That is the reality of Capsule Hotels Japan, a concept first introduced in Osaka in 1979. Originally created for salarymen who had missed the last train home, these tiny pods offered a cheap and efficient place to rest overnight. Each capsule resembles a giant matchbox, just enough space to stretch out. Equipped with a wall-mounted TV, soft lighting, soundproof sliding doors, and a small compartment for personal belongings. Picture this scene, dozens, even hundreds of glowing pods stacked like a honeycomb. Warm yellow light spilling from each doorway, making you feel as if you've stepped aboard a futuristic spacecraft. Today, capsule hotels are no longer just for weary commuters. They have become a must-try experience for international travelers. Some even offer luxury upgrades, with memory foam mattresses, personal air purifiers, customizable ambient lighting, and state-of-the-art entertainment systems. What makes them truly remarkable is not just their modest size, but how the Japanese have turned minimalism into an art form, transforming limited space into a cocoon of comfort, serenity, and even meditation. It is a striking symbol of a society that thrives on efficiency, where every centimeter counts. Yet elegance and thoughtfulness are never compromised. Number 11. Japanese food art. In Japan, food is not merely meant to be eaten, it is meant to be admired. This is a country where each piece of sushi is crafted like a work of glass art, where ramen is not just a dish but a reflection of regional identity, where tempura is so delicate it feels as if it could dissolve into thin air, and where okonomiyaki, often called Japanese pizza, embodies a unique culinary spirit all its own. What makes Japanese cuisine truly distinct is not only the taste but the way it transforms into visual artistry. Step inside a small restaurant in Tokyo and you'll find rows of shokuin samples, plastic food replicas so meticulously crafted that they trick the eye into believing they are real. These are not mere advertisements, they are expressions of Japan's pursuit of perfection in every detail. Beyond this, there are cube-shaped watermelons, cultivated inside molds and sold for hundreds of dollars. Not to be eaten but displayed as works of art. Japanese children grow up opening bento boxes that look like miniature masterpieces, decorated with their favorite anime characters, turning lunchtime into an experience both delightful and delicious. On another street corner, a vending machine dispenses steaming bowls of ramen, as if plucked from the pages of science fiction. All of this reflects something profound about Japanese culture, a deep sense of refinement, a reverence for presentation, and a devotion to beauty even in the smallest details of daily life. Number 10. Nagoro, the village of dolls. A village where you encounter more dolls than people? This is Nagoro, a remote settlement on Japan's Shikoku Island. Once home to hundreds, the population steadily declined as the young moved to cities and the elderly passed away, leaving the town eerily empty. To fill the void, a local artisan began creating life-sized dolls, each one representing a former resident. Today, Nagoro is inhabited by over 350 dolls, sitting in classrooms, waiting at the bus stop, or laboring silently in the fields, frozen snapshots of lives that once were. Travelers who visit Nagoro often describe the experience as hauntingly surreal, warm and nostalgic, yet unsettling, as they walk through deserted streets only to meet the blank stares of fabric and cotton faces. A classroom with a real teacher, but every student is a doll. A village meeting where all participants are stitched and stuffed. Nagoro has become an open-air museum of memory, where every doll is a testament to Japan's demographic crisis, its rapidly aging society and the vanishing of rural communities at an alarming pace. It serves as a metaphor for the fragility of rural life in an age of relentless urbanization, and as a poignant reminder to the world of the human cost of progress. Number 9. Zao Fox Village, Kingdom of Foxes. Have you ever imagined walking alongside hundreds of foxes? In Miyagi Prefecture lies Zao Fox Village, the Kingdom of Foxes, home to over 100 foxes of every kind, from fiery red coats to snow-white fur, roaming freely through a forested sanctuary. In Shinto belief, the kitsune, the fox, is far more than an ordinary animal. It is the messenger of Inari, the god of agriculture and prosperity. The Japanese see the fox as both a bringer of fortune and a creature of mystery. At once familiar and unpredictable, entering Zao Fox Village feels like stepping into a parallel world, where humans are merely visitors and the foxes are the true rulers of the land. Visitors can watch them dart across woodland paths, hear their haunting cries echo through the quiet mountains, and even feed them at designated stations where safety is ensured for both people and animals. One traveler described the experience as wandering into a living Japanese fairy tale, where foxes embody not only wild beauty but also the spiritual bond between humans and nature. What makes this discovery remarkable is not just the novelty of a village devoted to foxes, but the way it mirrors cultural beliefs, even in a hypermodern society. Japan preserves a sacred thread of connection to the natural world. Number 8. Jigokudani Monkey Park, monkeys bathe in onsen. The special guests of Japan's hot springs. In the snowy mountains of Nagano, when winter blankets the valleys in white, there is a mesmerizing sight that has stunned the world: Japanese macaques, also known as snow monkeys, gathering in the steaming natural hot springs of Jigokudani. They soak in the warm waters, sometimes closing their eyes in complete serenity, their expressions uncannily human, as if lost in meditation. At times, you'll see a playful youngster splashing water onto its face, while the adults remain perfectly still, steam rising from their soaked fur, creating a scene that looks almost dreamlike. This behavior first began in the 1960s, when a troop of wild macaques discovered the hot springs near Jigokudani and instinctively started using them to survive the bitter cold. Over time, the habit spread through the troop and became an inherited tradition, passed down across generations. What makes this discovery so extraordinary is how it blurs the line between humans and nature, just as we seek onsen for rest and rejuvenation. So too do these wild creatures find solace in the same ritual. The image has since become iconic, a symbol of rare harmony, where humans and animals converge on the same fundamental truth, that even in the harshest winters, every being deserves a moment of peace. Number 7. The art of bowing. A gesture that seems simple. Yet in Japan, it is a science of etiquette. Bowing here is not just a polite greeting, it is a silent language of respect, gratitude, and even apology. The Japanese have developed an entire system, a 15-degree bow for casual encounters, a 30-degree bow for more formal situations, and a deep 45-degree bow to convey sincere apology or profound thanks. Deviate slightly in angle or posture, and the gesture may be seen as disrespectful. Some companies even install sensors to measure the exact angle of employees' bows, ensuring absolute precision in customer service. One memorable story took place in a Tokyo department store, where an employee bowed too hastily, leaving the customer feeling the gesture lacked sincerity. The manager immediately corrected the behavior, emphasizing that every bow must carry both presence and heart. Today, it is not only humans but also service robots in hotels and shopping malls that are programmed to bow with flawless accuracy, their angle and pace perfected to mirror tradition. This demonstrates how a centuries-old custom continues to thrive in the digital age. The art of bowing stands as a symbol of balance between modernity and tradition, between machines and humanity, a metaphor for how Japan preserves its cultural soul amidst the rush of progress. Number 6. Pay to leave Japan policy. A country willing to pay you thousands of dollars just to leave. It sounds surreal. Yet this is a real policy in Japan. The government offers between $2,000 and $3 to asylum seekers whose applications have been rejected, on the condition that they voluntarily return home. While surprising, this makes sense within Japan's context as one of the strictest nations in the world regarding asylum, with an acceptance rate of only 0.5 to 1%. Rather than resorting to forced deportations or allowing people to remain in legal limbo, Japan has chosen a more graceful path, providing a modest incentive for people to depart peacefully. Picture this: at Narita Airport, a traveler holds a government-funded plane ticket and a final envelope of support money, stepping quietly onto a flight out of the country. For the individual, it is often a bitter disappointment. For Japan, it is a way of preserving order and national dignity. This policy exposes a paradox: a nation facing a rapidly aging society and severe labor shortages, yet one that remains firmly resistant to large-scale immigration. It reveals Japan's determination to protect cultural homogeneity and social harmony, even at the cost of the openness embraced by many Western nations. Number 5. Maid Café, the place that sells gentleness. In Tokyo, there is a cafe where what you purchase is not just a drink, but the feeling of being cared for. This is the Maid Café in Akihabara, the beating heart of otaku culture. Step inside, and you're transported into a world where waitresses in frilly maid costumes greet you with high-pitched, sugary voices, calling you master or princess, as though you've wandered into a fairy tale. Instead of simply delivering food, they draw hearts with ketchup on your omurice or perform the playful mo mo kien ritual, a gesture that feels like casting a spell to make your meal taste better. One visitor once described the experience as stepping back into childhood, where everything felt innocent and full of affection. These cafes are not just about dining, they are emotional therapy for a generation of young people living alone, isolated by the relentless pace of urban life. What makes this phenomenon so remarkable is the paradox it reveals. In one of the most technologically advanced and hyper-connected societies in the world, people long so deeply for human warmth that they are willing to pay for it. Maid cafes stand as a mirror of modern Japan. On the surface, They are colorful havens of cuteness. But beneath lies a quiet echo of loneliness and the universal hunger for connection. Number 4. No dancing after midnight. Imagine walking into a nightclub. EDM blasting. Laser lights slicing through the crowd, and yet no one is dancing. As strange as it sounds, this was the reality in Japan for nearly 70 years. In 1948, in the aftermath of World War II, the government introduced the Fueho Law, banning dancing after midnight in an attempt to curb immoral behavior during a time of social unrest. From then on, countless nightclubs across Tokyo and Osaka became surreal spaces. Patrons gathered to drink, listen to music, and socialize. But when the clock struck 12, the dance floor went silent. Western visitors often described their shock at seeing DJs whip up the energy, only for the crowd to remain motionless, as if bound by an invisible force. A bar owner in Shibuya once confessed that they constantly feared police raids, because if even a handful of customers were caught dancing past the curfew, the club could face crippling fines or closure. This reveals a fascinating paradox. While the rest of the world embraced nightclubs as spaces of liberation, Japan enforced order even in places designed for freedom. The law was finally repealed in 2015, restoring the right to dance into the late hours. Yet the memory of decades without midnight dancing endures. A striking reminder of how Japanese society prioritizes discipline and control, even in moments meant for release. Number 3. Tokyo Nightlife. A city that never sleeps, yet remains astonishingly safe. This is Tokyo, a megacity of nearly 40 million people, where the night shines just as brightly as the day. Imagine leaving your wallet on a park bench late at night and returning hours later to find it untouched. While many of the world's great cities carry an air of danger after dark, Tokyo reveals a nocturnal universe of vibrance and order. In Shibuya, the world's busiest crosswalk pulses with neon lights and endless streams of people. Shinjuku transforms into a glowing labyrinth of eateries, karaoke bars, and flashing billboards. Meanwhile, Golden Gai, an intimate maze of narrow alleys packed with more than 200 tiny bars, each seating only a handful, becomes a place where strangers can sit shoulder to shoulder and converse as if old friends. Travelers often remark on a striking sight: Japanese women walking alone through narrow backstreets at midnight. Safe and untroubled, something almost unimaginable in other global megacities. Tokyo nightlife is a captivating paradox, chaotic in its neon blaze, yet disciplined and secure to the point of disbelief. It reflects the spirit of Japan itself, a curious blend of freedom and order, of collective noise and private stillness. Number 2. Cherry Blossom Festival, Japan. When an entire country transforms into a pink canvas. This is springtime in Japan, when millions of cherry trees burst into bloom, turning streets, parks, and riversides into seas of blossoms. The Japanese call this tradition hanami, literally, flower viewing. Yet hanami is not just about admiring or photographing the blossoms. It is a full-fledged outdoor celebration. People spread picnic mats beneath the trees, share bento boxes, sip sake, sing, laugh, and chat while petals fall like rain around them. The custom dates back more than 1,000 years to the Heian court, where aristocrats would gather under cherry blossoms to compose poetry and play music. Over centuries, it spread to commoners and became a nationwide cultural ritual. One traveler recalled that sitting in Ueno Park in April felt like the entire city of Tokyo was breathing in unison. As children, families, and elders alike gazed upward at fragile blossoms that seemed to whisper a reminder: life is fleeting, but profoundly beautiful. What makes hanami remarkable is how it reveals a softer side of Japan. In a society often defined by discipline and rigor, hanami is a rare moment to let go, to relax, and to celebrate the simple joy of being alive. Number 1. Japanese men live longer than women. A nation where men live longer than women, defying nearly every global pattern. This astonishing truth belongs to Japan, a country where the average male lifespan surpasses that of females. Why? The reasons trace back to a simple, nature-bound lifestyle. In remote mountain regions, Japanese men still embrace age-old routines, herding cattle, hiking rugged slopes, carrying water, and working tirelessly on steep farmlands. Each day becomes a series of natural workouts, strengthening their bodies over decades. Picture a misty morning in the valleys of Nagano, an elderly man, hair silvered with age yet frame still strong, guiding his cattle along a fog-draped trail. His breath mingles with the morning mist, his weathered hands firmly gripping the rope, and his steady steps reveal a resilience no passing year can erode. The scene is both humble and profound, a living testament that in Japan, old age is not an ending but a stage where endurance and harmony with nature shine brightest. What makes this discovery extraordinary is that it overturns what many believe to be a biological constant across the world. Women generally outlive men. Yet in Japan, discipline, physical labor, and a symbiotic relationship with the environment have created a remarkable exception. It symbolizes a society that values balance of body, mind, and spirit, where longevity is not merely a statistic but proof of the intimate bond between human life and the natural world. We have just journeyed through a land of wonder and paradox. From the towering Himalayas that seem to pierce the heavens, to villages where ancient traditions still breathe through every gesture of daily life. Nepal reveals itself not merely as a small nation between two giants, but as a universe in miniature, where people, faith, and nature weave together into a symphony unlike any other. The discoveries we explored today, from reversed life expectancy to sacred rituals and the simplicity of everyday existence, remind us that the world is far larger and more mysterious than we often imagine. And beyond that, they reflect deeper questions about humanity itself. What sustains us through the centuries? What allows a small nation to hold within it such immense spiritual strength? So, what about you? Which discovery surprised you the most? And which mystery would you like us to uncover in the next journey? Perhaps it is in asking these questions that we truly begin the endless adventure of knowledge. If you found this journey worthwhile, leave your mark on our path, like, share, comment, and subscribe. So together with fascinating discoveries, we can continue to unlock the world's hidden wonders.